Have you noticed that you have been getting a ton of gambling ads?
Download the app today.
Our favorites, Paddy Power.
BetMGM Sportsbook. Make it legendary.
Yeah, me too. Whether you turn on the TV, scroll through social media, walk past a billboard, watch a sport, or open a news website, there always seems to be at least a gambling ad. With apps showing the right odds on your phone, celebrities promising excitement and luxury, sports teams wearing gambling sponsors on their shirts, commentators casually mentioning betting lines as if they're just another part of the game. There are so much of these gambling ads, as if for many companies, it has become so normal. And seeing all of these ads out of nowhere makes me wonder, why is gambling so prevalent now? Why is it almost everywhere, anywhere, all of the time? And what does this constant exposure mean for individuals, families, and society as a whole? So to understand why gambling is so common today, we need to look back at how gambling itself has changed. When it comes to gambling, it has existed for centuries, but for much of history, it was limited in access, as you had to go to a physical location, like a betting shop or casino. Advertising was present, but it was not as constant or deeply forced into everyday life. But that changed with the arrival of the internet, where gambling can be done online. Online gambling removed the need for anyone to be in a physical place. Gambling can constantly happen publicly or privately through a phone or computer, and because of that, online gambling grew. Once online gambling moved online and grew in popularity, many gambling companies started appearing and are competing against each other. Dozens and hundreds of betting sites popped up, all trying to attract the same people. And because of that competition, they have to find ways to attract as many customers as they can. That is where advertising became the main weapon for it. When products are similar, being the most recognized matters more than anything else. This is really why gambling ads are frequent and unavoidable. The aim is not just to attract new gamblers, but for the product to stay in your mind at all times. Also, sports play a central role in this because they work in conjunction with gambling. When we think of gambling, we mainly think sports. Gambling and sports are closely linked because betting thrives on engagement, especially at an emotional level. When people deeply care about a team, a match, or player, people are more likely to place a bet just to add more excitement. By sponsoring teams, leagues, and broadcasts, gambling companies place themselves directly within the moments of excitement, loyalty, and identity. This is why there are gambling logos on team shirts, stadium banners, and pre-match shows. The ads are not just selling gambling, they are associating gambling with passion, community, and fun. Over time, betting becomes a normal part of how people experience sports and not just something separate from it. Despite gambling being deeply integrated into sports, it is not the only thing that could be advertised. So why does gambling dominate sports spaces and our everyday lives more than anything else? The main and obvious reason gambling advertising is everywhere is money. Shocker, right? Gambling is one of the most profitable industries in the world. The money they are making are massive because the business model is built on volume and repetition. Just a small group of heavy gamblers can generate a large portion of profits, and from these gamblers, advertising is designed to encourage frequent engagement, quick decisions, and emotional spending rather than reflection. Because the betting industry makes so much money off it, it can afford massive advertising budgets and sponsorships. The company doesn't only benefit from this, the people who promote them also benefit from it. Media companies, sports teams, broadcasters, celebrities, and influencers/content creators also benefit from these partnerships, which makes them less likely to question the ethical side of promotion. When entire industries depend on gambling sponsorships to survive, criticism becomes unmentioned and sometimes unwelcome. To make things worse, they are involving celebrities and professional athletes who are well-known faces to bring instant credibility and familiarity, making betting feel more normal and trustworthy. For the celebrities and athletes involved, the motivation is also largely financial. Gambling companies are willing to pay enormous sums for endorsements, offering deals that far exceed traditional sponsorships. The influence they carry is significant. When people see figures they admire who are associated with betting brands, gambling can begin to feel like a natural extension of sports and entertainment rather than a commercial product designed to make money. Have you noticed that when they advertise a gambling app, the phrases used in them are carefully designed to make them look good? The ads rarely show loss, regret, or the dangers. Instead, they focus on excitement, winning, and ease. Betting is presented as a normal, harmless form of entertainment, similar to watching a movie or buying a coffee. Small bets are emphasized, even though the system encourages repeated play. They also present with free bets and bonuses, which are a key strategy of how companies attract customers. They may seem generous, but these offers are designed to draw people in and keep them engaged. The idea of free makes it easier for people to engage without worrying too much on spending money for the first time, even though there are usually conditions attached that encourages further spending. Over time, what starts as simple curiosity and fun can unfortunately turn into a habit, which is where psychology comes in. Gambling ads also create a sense of urgency, suggesting that the opportunities to present are limited or immediate. They use bright colors, fast movement, and upbeat music to stimulate the brain. Some ads even use information about you by using data, showing odds related to teams or players you already like or support. This makes the message feel relevant and targeted, even if it's part of the automated system. This constant stimulation can be dangerous because gambling problems does not happen overnight. It develops gradually, shaped by repeated exposure, normalization, and emotional triggers. These advertising creates an environment where gambling feels safe, familiar, and socially accepted, even when it causes harm. One of the most concerning things of the constant gambling advertising is the impact it has on young people. Children and teenagers are exposed to gambling ads and messages long before they're even legally allowed to participate in it.
I'm gonna bet that you've seen a gambling ad before.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have seen a few.
When gambling is constantly associated with sports and excitement, it shapes how young people perceive success and risk, even if they haven't started gambling yet. They're learning that betting is normal and fun. This early normalization increases the chances that they'll gamble late in life and decreases their awareness of the potential consequences. Another issue is how gambling advertising often shifts responsibility onto the individual. Messages about gambling responsibility appears, but they are usually small or vague compared to the main promotional content. They underline the message that gambling itself is fine, and any problems are the result of the individual rather than a system which is designed to encourage excessive spending. The shift of blame benefits the industry. If harm is seen as a personal issue, there is less pressure to change advertising practices or business models. At the same time, people who struggle with gambling may feel shame rather than support, making it harder to seek help. Public debate about gambling advertising has increased in many years, especially when there are stories of addiction, debt, and mental health struggles as a result of gambling. Families who are affected by those who gamble describe feelings of isolation and frustration, especially when the same companies causing the harm are celebrated as major sponsors and community partners. This difference presents a deeper issue. It reflects broader values about profit, entertainment, and responsibility. When success is measured by revenue, the dangers becomes an acceptable side effect rather than a huge concern. So to conclude, the reason gambling ads is everywhere is because of gambling ads becoming online and mainly financial power. It thrives in spaces where emotions run high and regulation runs low. When people understand why something is everywhere, they can make better decisions about how much room it should have in their lives.